Good day and welcome to your favorite sport program on TV, Plus Sport. A lot of viewers are already at home, this is a period of the Xmas period. This is a period, the Xmas is over. The period between Xmas and the New Year, there are periods where people are in different relaxation mood. So for our job, there's still more reason why we have to come to work to ensure that all our listeners globally will know what's going on in the world of sport and beyond sport. Plus, TV Africa is going to give you all what you need to know in the world globally. That's I'm Mudashiru Shitu, and I'll be talking so much on the 2023 African Cup of Nations starting in January 13th. Joining me to talk about this is Tolu Owate. Tolu Owate is a sport administrator and a man that has done so well in the world of sport. He's a seasoned sport administrator, a founder for Sports Foundation for Kids. I know when I met Tolu Owate in 2019, he has a plan for sport for kids. He's also a retired referee with Nigerian Referee Association and currently a referee instructor with the Lagos State Referee Council. So Tolu Owate is a man of many parts when it comes to sport. I remember that I met him in 2019 when he had something going on for kids, founder for Sport Foundation for Kids. So I'm not going to talk about the foundation at the beginning of the program, about what's going on and its plan for the foundation. But Tolu, we're looking at the 2023 African Cup of Nations, and we have a review in Group A where we have Nigeria, Guinea-Bissau, Equatorial Guinea, and the host nation, Côte d'Ivoire. Tell us about this group.
Thank you so much, Mudashiru. It's nice to be back on TV. The last time I was here was during the Women's World Cup in New Zealand and Australia. We had a lovely time, and it's back. It's good to be back. Right now, we are talking about the AFCON, African Cup of Nations. And the next, it's Côte d'Ivoire 2023, but it's going to be taking place in 2024. Reason being that it was originally meant to take place sometime around the middle of 2023, but Côte d'Ivoire was having too much of rainfall. The season was not just ideal. So the tournament was shifted to January, February. So that's why the AFCON 2023 is going to be taking place in 2024. First and foremost, I normally come here putting on the Super Eagles jersey, but in the spirit of Christmas, I'm putting on my Christmas sweater, and I'm also having my muffler for the Super Eagles right on my neck. We are in Group A, and Group A is the group of death. By my own reckoning, in that group, we have the host nation, Côte d'Ivoire. We have Nigeria, former three-time champions of the AFCON. We have Guinea-Bissau. Guinea-Bissau, a relatively looking like an underdog team, but however, don't forget that in the qualifiers, they were in the same group with Nigeria en route this Nations Cup. To our wildest imagination, Guinea-Bissau beat the Super Eagles of Nigeria in Abuja sometime in March 2023. That was a shocker. Although we went back to Guinea-Bissau, we defeated them, paid them back in their coins. But by my reckoning, by my standard, they have no business beating us in Abuja. And that's why I always miss the Super Eagles playing their games in Lagos. You don't come to Lagos and beat us. They happen. It never happened before. Well, it has happened before, make I no lie. But it's not something you would do easily and go scot-free. So the group of death, Nigeria, Côte d'Ivoire, Guinea-Bissau, Equatorial Guinea. I'm going to be patriotic. Nigeria comes out of that group. I see Côte d'Ivoire coming out, Côte d'Ivoire or Guinea-Bissau. But I would love Côte d'Ivoire to come out of that group too, because as host country, you don't want them out that soon, just for the flair and fanfare of the competition. So Côte d'Ivoire, Nigeria, Group A. And just to let you know
that... You want to say something?
Yeah, so the match, our group is going to be playing in Abidjan, right? So there are 5 cities that are hosting the AFCON. Abidjan is one of them. Yamoussoukro is another one. The remaining three, they don't readily come to mind. But playing in Abidjan, because there are two world-class stadia in Abidjan, the Alassane Ouattara Stadium and the Ofe Stadium. The Ofe Stadium is relatively old. The Alassane Ouattara Stadium is the new one, and that's where the Eagles will be playing. We will play two of our group matches at the Alassane Ouattara Stadium in Ebimpe, while our last match will be played at the Ofe Stadium.
Let's not look at this. There's an interview that was granted by the 2013 winner, talking about that's talking about Mikel Obi, the captain that won the set of players that won last tournament in Johannesburg. I'm sure I was trying to say Mikel Obi was the captain, but I now remember vividly that we had Joseph Yobo as the captain of that team. But he's not one could call Mikel Obi a captain because of many things he has done for the Super Eagles. Now, he said
you are not wrong to call him captain. He was captain at some point in time.
He was captain at some point.
But he was not the captain in 2013.
He was not the captain in 2013. And he said that Nigerians are always favourites, and that pour so much contempt on statement that we are always favourite does not necessarily mean that we are key favourite. We are favourite every time in the basement because of our name and pedigree. Do you agree that Nigerians are favourite in this tournament?
So, Mikel is sharing my line of thought, right? Nigeria cannot go to AFCON and not be favourites or not be one of the favourites. We might not necessarily win, but we are always a force to reckon with in AFCON, right? Even if we struggle to qualify, once we are in that tournament, any team in our group, any team that plays us or any team that will play us understands that no matter the form Nigeria is in, we are never a pushover when it comes to AFCON. Are we in the best of form right now? I will say not necessarily so. Can we improve with form? I will say yes. Are we the top favorites? Maybe not. Are we one of the first 5, 4, 6? Absolutely yes. So Mikel was not out of place to have said that, right? The Ivorians are not sleeping right now because they know they have to deal with us or we deal with them on January 18. Yeah, January 18, 5 p.m. Ivorian time, which is 6 p.m. Nigerian time. It's going to be a match to watch.
So beyond that, I think the favourite tag is because of our pedigree. Your opinion also, and I'm sure a lot of people have shared that opinion too, that the favourite tag is because of our pedigree, not necessarily means the tenacity or the summation of how fantastic we are. During the last FIFA ranking, Nigeria was not ranked among the first 3-4 nations going into this Nations Cup. And we are favourite perhaps because of what we've done in the past, or because we have Osimhen, we have wonderful player Boniface, Victor in the group. But I'm asking now that how well do you think we can get to the final or even to semi-final? We've won this in a record time, so 3 times rather. So what do you think we still that pedigree in terms of the reality of the situation of players we have?
So what makes a team a favourite for a tournament? We're going to look at the pedigree. We're going to look at what they've done in the past. We will look at what they can do presently. And we will look at the current crop of players. Are our players good? They are fantastic players. Currently, we have the African Footballer of the Year, Victor Osimhen. Currently, African Footballer of the Year. We've got, what is his name? Senior man, Kelechi is there, right? We've got Chikwueze. We've got Boniface. Those guys are top-class players. They are not mediocre players. The fact that the team has not been gelling for a while, it's quite understandable in football sometimes. Some teams peak when they get to tournaments. It's unfortunate that the expectations of Nigeria from the Eagles is very high. So if they play averagely, we consider it as bad. The team is not bad. The team just needs to gel. So on paper, we are good. Pedigree, yes. Current form, The players are good individually. I just need them to click. I need Coach Jose Paseiro. Okay, for jokes, I used to call him Pasero. If you know the meaning of Pasero, you will laugh at it. But his name is Jose Paseiro, and I'm hoping that the coach is going to be able to make the players click.
Tolu,
Are we going
what's
to
the
go out of the group
difference?
stage?
What's the
Sorry?
difference between this team and the team that got the bronze medal some in the last tournament when we lost the semi-final place to final place to Algeria? We later won it some 2 seasons ago, the last two editions, because we have many wonderful players that are also in the mix. So what are they going to do differently? I mean, it doesn't really show so much difference when you look at the team. The last tournament we went to, where the last coach, Ghana Troy, took us to, and this team. Have there been any injection? Have there been any energy or synergy within the teams that we can boldly say that this is a team that will defeat Cote d'Ivoire, a team that will beat Senegal if they come across each other during the course of the tournament?
So it's always difficult to predict result of games when the tournament have not started, right? But if we go back to the last tournament and we consider the form of the players and the form they are in now, that's great improvement. Victor Osimhen has been a good player all along, but in the last 2-3 years, we've seen what he could do, right? Victor Osimhen reminds me of the great Banakini, Rashidi Yakini of blessed memory. A player that when you see him, you know that when you see him make a move, you know you expect a goal, right? Victor Boniface is also there. So the players have improved over time. As I said, we just need the team to gel and we need the coach to provide the right tactics. That is all I need.
Now that the team will
So
be
are we
true.
going to be able to beat Cote d'Ivoire? I mean, trust me, you know I will never say no to that. But I see us qualifying from that group. Whether we will beat Cote d'Ivoire or have a draw, I don't see us losing a game in our group stages. I see us qualifying and topping that group. The other team that comes, I do not know. As the game moves on, it becomes tougher. There are tougher opponents. We have our perennial foes. We have the Cameroon, the all-time record holder, the Pharaohs of Egypt. They've won it 7 times. And my cousins on the other side of the West Coast, Ghanaians, they've won it four times. And by the way, we're talking about the Eagles. The Ghanaians have not won this tournament in the last 42 years. So we are still even better than them on paper when it comes to the last time we won it. The Eagles might not look like they're in the best of form, but trust me, we will not do badly in this tournament.
Okay. Now, what's trending a few weeks ago was the fact that we have only 3 local-based players when the list was sent to FIFA, which is going to be trimmed to 25 or 27. That we have only 3 home-based players, and out of the 3 were goalkeepers, Olawoleke, and I think we have Mustard's goalkeeper, and one other goalkeeper also. Sporting Lagos was also in the mix of them. The names are forgotten. And they've been talking about, no, we have to be more local-based players into this team. We had Sunday Olise coming to the rescue of local-based players, saying that they need to be included. We also know that looking at the team, the finalists from Cameroon, from South Africa, most of them, 70-80% are local-based players. I saw the names for Tunisia, if I'm not mistaken, Morocco, they're all local-based players. Are you of the opinion, and people keep pointing to what Tevikeshi did with the likes of
Sunday
Ogeyonazi, Mba
Sunday
and all that.
Ogeyonazi.
Ogeyonazi is not a local-based players. I mean to say
Sorry, Sunday was the
Sunday
local base. Sorry,
Mba and Ogbabuna and the rest of them. So and they keep pointing to that fact that he did so well. But analytically, looking at these players that went to the local base to South Africa to win for certification, only 2, Obabuna and I think Sunday Mba, played 90 minutes twice, 2 games. It was a combination of Chigoza Angbin, the goalkeeper, didn't start. One other player, which I never forgotten, didn't start. But it was only Obabuna and Sunday Mba that likely Obabuna started 2 games for the tournament. We had Obabuna was the only one that started throughout for the tournament. We have Sunday back coming in as a substitute in 1 game and also played the final. But the statistics of the contribution of the home-based players in that game were less than 50, almost 30. But the coloration was that the home base added so much value that's a coloration. But what's your own view about not inviting home base players or inviting home base players to this team?
So for me, I really am not bothered where you play in terms of country or club. I'm bothered about your form, your present form as a footballer, and the impact that you will make in the team. Do we need home-based players to be part of that team? I will say yes. Because I believe there is quality in the local league too. Do we have as much quality as some of the foreign leagues? We are trying to get there. We might not be there yet, but we will get there, and we are trying to get there. Would I have supported Jose Parceiro to bring in more local-based players? Absolutely yes. But let us not forget, each coach has his own style. I'm not in total agreement that we should only have that limited number of home-based players. But at the moment, is the coach. Maybe that's what he feels is right. We'll give him the benefit of doubt. We have 2 weeks to the competition. Big boss. Let's give it Stephen Keshi, my friend, my big friend of blessed memory. He brought in a lot of players in the local league. The big boss was very familiar with the local league. Egmont now homegrown, right? He was homegrown, he knew everything, and he knew what he wanted. So it was easy for him to go scouting, seeing the players and bringing them in. Parceiro, I don't want to excuse him. We would have loved to have some home-based players, but we don't have as many as we'd want to have. But what is important? Give us the best players that you think will fit in. And sometimes coaches' decisions are not necessarily the spectators' decisions, right? Sometimes players are brought into the team not because the coach thinks they're good players to play, but because they also have some other influence in the back room, off the field. Remember the big boss, Stephen Keshi in 1994 was already going out of form. He practically did not play any match at the Nations Cup in Tunisia 94, right? At the USA World Cup in 1994, the big boss played, I think, just 1 match in our last game against Greece, if my memories are not failing me. But the influence of the big boss in that team could not be underestimated, right? And that was why he was in the team. In 2013, when we last won the AFCON, Yobo Joseph was almost in that particular scenario as well. So players are brought into the team, not necessarily all about
So
form.
you say now, Tolu, that you don't necessarily care so much whether there's inclusion of home-based players in the team or not. That the most important thing, according to you, if I get to you correctly, is that we should go there and win.
Let me rephrase. So that we don't get misrepresented. I would love to see home-based players in the team.
But now that there's no home-based players in the team.
Pardon me?
Now that there's only 3 home-based players in the 45-man list, which is going to be cut to 25 or 27.
So the coach probably thinks that those are the 3 that he needs to execute this task right now. Has he made the right decision? I will not be saying a yes or a no. But the buck stops at his desk. If we fail, we get his head. If we succeed, we lift him high. Would I have loved to see more than 3 home-based players in the camp? Absolutely, yes. But again, is the tactician.
So what's the difference between South Africa coming into the mix with 90% of the list I saw today, the final list of South Africans team is out, and 90% are the local-based players?
So I saw the list of the Bafana. They have just about 4 players that are playing outside South Africa, 4 or 5, which is a fair number.
And most of them are from Melody Sundowns. So
Melody Sundowns, yes, and Orlando Pirates. So now I don't like this comparison, right? But I'm forced to do it. The South African League is good for their players, right? Their players are getting quality time playing. Their players are playing week in, week out. I'm not too certain that South Africa has as many foreign-based players like we have. So the pool they are going to get from is from their league, not necessarily the way we are. We have as many. If we have 200 players in the local league, we probably have almost that same number playing abroad for Nigeria. I don't know if you get what I mean. In the case of South Africa, I do not have the statistics. I will go and check. But so that works for them. They are getting their players from their league. Maybe their coach feels that their league is perfect enough. Maybe their coach feels that he doesn't need the foreign players. But the South African league on paper, if we put it against the Nigerian league, in terms of the quality of players, I will say we probably have better players. In terms of organization and some logistics, maybe they are still a little bit ahead of us. So let's give it to them. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they are going to be fantastic.
Okay, you can say that is understandable. Nigeria ended this year because the last FIFA ranking is out, and sixth place as the African sixth best team, leading into the Nations Cup that's coming to take next year. Morocco retained the number one spot and 13th in the world. They're followed by second place Senegal. With this, who's also maintained 20th place in the world, Tunisia remained unmoved, and Algeria and Egypt complete the top five. Nigeria is not among the top five going to the Nations Cup. How will this FIFA ranking affect?
So Nigeria is not among the top five, but we are number 6 in Africa right now, and we are number 42 in the world right now. In our group, we are the highest ranked team in our group, right? Now, FIFA ranking is good, but it could also be misleading. FIFA ranking is a function of how many grade A games you've played and the frequency at which you played. Morocco has played more games than us in recent times. Senegal probably has also played more games than us in recent times. So those things add up. Are these teams good? They're probably better on paper than Nigeria. Let's be sincere with ourselves. Morocco on paper now.
So you think Morocco that's gone to the Nations Cup, to the World Cup, and break jeans no African team has done? It's just a paperwork.
No. What I'm saying is, and if you heard me right, I said Morocco is probably the best team in Africa right now on paper, as well as what they've done on the field, and as well as administrative wise. Right? It doesn't necessarily mean that on a good day, when we get to the competition, this FIFA ranking will be what we will rely on. Let's go back to the Women's World Cup in Australia, New Zealand. In our group, Canada, Nigeria, Australia, and Ireland, we were the lowest ranked team in that group, right?
Yeah.
And none of them could beat us. So you get what I mean. The FIFA ranking is important. It gives you an idea of where you are and what you need to do and how you need to improve.
If you're going to use that illustration, you mentioned none of them defeated us. Except the last of that team, I think, I forgot the name. Others went ahead of us in that competition. So the paper, they went ahead of us in that competition, which is a yardstick.
When you say ahead, how do you mean?
I mean, we left in the round of 16. I think, I don't know. We left in the round of 16, if I'm not mistaken, as I said. And I think
we left in the round of 16, and Australia went to the third place. And they played the third place match.
And I think the other team, if it's not Canada or
Canada left immediately. Nigeria sacked them. Nothing there.
So, but let's look at this holistically and look at that group A, Guinea-Bissau. For every team, there's always the underdog, the teams that nobody expects to do so well. And difficult to place right now that who is going to be the underdog in that team. In Group A, Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria, Equatorial Guinea, Guinea-Bissau. Who seems like the underdog in that team? Who seems to be the team that...
Equatorial Guinea is not going to do anything. And I'm not trying to be pompous and proud. Forget about Equatorial Guinea. It's going to be Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria, or Guinea-Bissau. Guinea-Bissau looks like the underdog right now, but if we go back to their recent form, you can't come to Nigeria and beat Nigeria if you are not a good team. So for Guinea-Bissau to have beat us in March in Abuja, That was tough. I'm still recovering from the malaria that match gave me. But when we get to tournament proper and push comes to shove, we will separate the boys from the men, right?
Okay.
And we will sieve out um, Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria in that group. Nigeria tops. Cote
And
d'Ivoire comes second.
Nigeria, what?
Nigeria tops that group. Cote d'Ivoire comes second.
Okay, written down your name in front of it, Tolu Owate. Now,
Absolutely.
let's take our minds, our viewers, everybody back to en route, the winning cup trophy where we defeated Cote d'Ivoire. If there's anything that keep coming up, Cote d'Ivoire and Ivorians rather are looking forward to a revenge match with that. And that's going to be very, very difficult for us to say we are going to defeat the Ivorians with the caliber, though we know that Sarr has not been, is not on the list of players that have been called into that game. But it seems they have all what it takes to avenge that loss to us in 2013. What can you say about that?
Okay, so we have a very good history with the Ivorians at AFCON. I'll take you back memory lane in Tunisia '94 in the
Okay.
semi-finals. It was Nigeria versus Cote d'Ivoire. Cote d'Ivoire had one of the best teams in Africa in '94. They had the Elephants of Cote d'Ivoire had Bembadi, they had Musa Traore, they had Abdoulaye Traore, they were brothers. They had I think was Yusuf Fufana in that team. I think Yusuf Fufana was in that team. So in that game, they came at us. 1-0, bam. We equalized. 2-1. Again, we equalized. So we are not strangers to ourselves, right? And on paper, I think they've even beaten us more times than we've beaten them. In the last 7 games we've played with the Ivorians, they've won 4 times and we've won 3 times. With that, we will say that, okay, they look pretty good. But, I mean, it's going to be a tough game, right? They are playing host. It's going to be pockets of Nigerians in the Alassane Ouattara Stadium playing against a very very hostile crowd. But they're not going to beat us. Leave that in. No be today. We will come out with at least a draw in that game.
Yeah, it's understandable that talking as a Nigerian, but I want you to put that patriotism aside and look at the two sides and how they've gone so far. If records on paper says they have more win than us, so definitely, what do you think will make this year, next year, few weeks?
The records on paper that I'm talking about also includes not just AFCON, it also includes the CHAN. The home-based Eagles too. In the last 7 games, they've won 4. All in all, we've won 3, right? The Ivorians are not necessarily in the best of forms also right now. We are not in the era of Didier Drogba, Solomon Kalou, and the rest of them.
Javino.
They are also not in the best of form, right? But they are not a bad team. They're still a strong team. It's just like Nigeria. Ivory Coast will not be in a tournament and not be one of the favorites, irrespective of the team they provide. Currently, the player to watch out for on the Ivorian side is Sebastian Haller. He used to play for the French junior team before he switched allegiance to Ivory Coast. And guess what? Super player, fantastic player. He survived a testicular cancer problem in 2023, earlier this year. So watch out for Sebastian Haller. It's going to be a fantastic player. But again, my boys go pocket him. Leave that in.
Okay, now you've mentioned the fantastic. So, what player do you think we are looking on the side of the Super Eagles?
Of course, we are looking at the king of Africa.
Apart from Osimhen, what?
Apart from Osimhen, every other person on the team is good.
What do you expect to see if the team list is trimmed to 25 or 27? What names are you expecting in the mix of them? What name will be a surprise if they drop the name? What name will be a great inclusion on the list?
So this is the part that I try to avoid talking about. And you know the reason. I'm a grassroots soccer coach, and we look at a lot of things when we choose players. As I said before, it's not just about form. Form is important, but if there are 3 players in form that are playing your wing already, and you are the 4th player, at that point, other things will come into place. Who is the more senior player? Who is going to be more influential? Who can deliver when the stakes are high, right? You can be a good player and not be able to deliver when the stakes are high, right? As in, who can carry the team when the pressure? Who can carry the team on his shoulders when the pressure is high, right? So a lot of things, right? Who is a lot more prone to injury? So I will leave that part for the coach, but I will be surprised if I do not see Victor Osimhen in that team. Then I will just stop watching the Nations Cup. But it's going to be there. Okay. And we're not putting too much pressure on.
Did you stop watching the Nations Cup when he wasn't in the last Nations Cup?
Pardon me?
He wasn't in the last Nations Cup, Victor Osimhen.
He was not the African Footballer of the Year in the last Nations Cup.
Okay, now let me look at this. Ahmed Musa has been trending for the past few weeks. Beyond the fact that he gifted a fellow sport journalist a house in Abuja, his inclusion into the Nations Cup list will cause whether he should be in the list or he should not be on the list. What do you have to say?
So, Captain Ahmed Musa, I call him Captain Fantastic. Absolutely humble on the field, off the field of play. Is Ahmed Musa still a good player? Absolutely, yes. Right? Are there better players in the team now? Possibly. You're not going to be number 1 forever. You're not going to be the best forever. But are you still one of the best? Ahmed Musa, as I said, some players are included in the team, not necessarily just for form. Some players are included in the team because of the charisma and what they do off the field of play. Are they the kind of players that rally the team? Are they the kind of players that lift the morale of the players in camp, during training, in the hotel? So those are the things we will consider. And don't forget, he's the current captain of the team, right? His form is not absolutely bad. It's just that we've seen Ahmed Musa in a better form than he is now. That's why we are all being a little apprehensive and jittery. But Captain Ahmed Musa, I still think is valuable.
Now we look at the goalkeeping department has been a big problem for the Super Eagles for a long time. In and out, Okoye come not satisfied, Francis Zoro, Dan Ekpeyi, Femi, Won Adile, many goalkeepers, and we have 3 goalkeepers from local-based players included. I don't know whether they're going to be trimmed, they're going to be out, or will be part of the team to the trainings ahead of the Nations Cup. Who are you expecting in the middle of the stick? What's your advice?
Okay, I'm equally as jittery as every other Nigerians when it comes to our goalkeeping department right now. But a goalkeeper is as good as his back line, right? I'm not saying that we're going to put a basket in goal, but a goalkeeper is also as good as his back line. If we have a solid back line, the goalkeeper's confidence will always be boosted. This is not the first time we will be having problems in our goalkeeping department, right? If you can remember, sometime in the late 80s, towards the early 90s, we really didn't have it well with goalkeeping. I can remember after the Nations Cup in 86, I think Dodo Mayana there. I can't remember if Rufai was in 86, but in 88, Rufai was not there. Between 88, no, Rufai was in 88. Between that time and when we went for the World Cup in 94, we had goalkeeping problems. It took several experimentations, several changes. There was a time it was Wilfred Agbon-Ivare, it was Aloy, then Dodo Mayana came in towards the World Cup. So it's not a new thing for us to have this problem, right? And the goalkeepers in camp, they are not bad goalkeepers. They just need to give us the confidence that when all the chips are down, we know that we have a guardian angel in goal, right? I wish they could up their form to the form of the likes of Dodo Mayana in USA 94 and Vincent Eyama and the last what was the last World Cup Vincent played. So, yeah. But you know, the coach will get it right. The coach will get it right.
Any stage, you said the Group A is a very tough group, if not the toughest. Is a group of that. What are you expecting Nigeria to get to at this particular tournament? Any personal target with your analysis on how good they are, what should be expected? So on the last Nations Cup was not fantastic. Guavon, though we did so well at the group stage, we got a new style of play. But people are saying Ghana, it's better for you to go find the tournament than having an identification with the style of play. Different issues on that. But now, where do you think we are heading to? Osimhen banging goals, Victor Boniface doing so well, Chukwueze doing so well, Ribo, we have Ndidi Wilfred, we have the Alex Iwobi, fantastic guy, and the man that was in Ajax before he went to Fulham, I've forgotten his name right now. I think the centre back or right back right now has been doing so well. These are players that in Europe that are doing so well. But where will this lead us to at the Nations Cup?
So I'm going to answer this question on two folds. I'm going to answer patriotically, and I'm going to answer
like I remember his name now, Kevin Bassey, doing so well, very fantastic defender. You can call him a winger, but he has been playing his role well. These are players.
Who is that?
These are players. Kevin Bassey.
Okay.
So with all these calibers of players, how far can we go in the Nations Cup?
So patriotically, I think I've stayed too long to lift another Nations Cup. I want to lift another Nations Cup. I don't like staying too long, right? And 2013, 2024, it's more than 10 years. I'm already hungry for another Nations Cup. Patriotically, I will say Nigeria will win. Now, let me talk like a sports analyst. Any country that wants to win the Nations Cup has to beat Morocco, Senegal, and what's the other thing? You just have to beat Morocco, Senegal, and Egypt. You have to beat those three countries, right? Anyone that is going to win this Nations Cup has to beat those three countries. Can we beat them? I would love to avoid these three countries until the final of the competition. But if they come our way,
that means somebody will be beating them on your behalf.
Make them beat them. So it's part of the game, right?
So you expect us to be in the final?
Make them cancel themselves out before I reach final.
So you expect them to be in the final?
The Super Eagles?
Yes.
Of course, I want them to be in the finals now. Where do you want to make I talk now? See,
yeah, but,
you don't understand.
But will they lift the trophy if they get to the final?
Pardon me?
Will they lift the trophy if they get to the final?
No, if we get to the final, it depends on the person we are playing with. But if we get to the final, we are bringing the trophy back to Abuja.
Okay, Tolu Owate, a seasoned sports administrator. You've talked so well on the Nigerian chances and review of Group A. At the same time, next week we'll be giving you to maybe perhaps Group B. But you talk much. Do you think Cote d'Ivoire will also go far in the tournament before we round up this part of the show?
So I want Cote d'Ivoire to go far in the tournament. And I'll tell you the reason, right? Apart from the fact that we want to watch good football, it's also good for the economics of football. There's economics of football. A lot of people don't know that. Now, in Africa, we don't really go to watch games if it is not our team playing. Now, the very moment the Ivorians get out of the tournament, nobody will be going to the stadium again until the final game. So I need the Ivorians to be in the tournament as far as possible because we need to make money from this competition, right? So Ivory Coast, I want them to get as far as semifinals.
Okay. Tolu Owate, and I'm sure that, I don't know whether you have plans to be in Cote d'Ivoire to cover the events because it's obvious that a lot of Nigerians are planning to be in Cote d'Ivoire. Report I'm hearing about Nigerians going by road is that the money you use, your plans for everything, if you are going by road, but you should be careful about the boundaries where there will be extortion from unconfirmed report, but I think we need to say that that the unconfirmed report about officials, ECOWAS nations, you get to this place, you'll be extorted or asked for the necessary things as the case may be. So if you are traveling to Cote d'Ivoire, make sure you have more than you budgeted for unsafe circumstance. I'm sure that's just a traveling guide too. So will you be there in Cote d'Ivoire or what? Or it's not for the public consumption. Okay. So if it's not for the public consumption...
Let us leave that out of public consumption for the moment, okay, right? Okay. But if you find me in the stadium when we will be beating or when we will be dealing with the elephants of Ivory Coast, do not be surprised. But let's leave that at the moment now. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Okay.
But what I would just say concerning the travel tips you just gave, if you're going by road and you're crossing that axis, that West African axis of the road, between Nigeria and Ghana, you're going to find it a lot easier to travel with your ECOWAS traveling certificate. Okay. You don't necessarily need your Nigerian passport. But once you get to the Ivorian border, they need your Nigerian passport because they want something that has biometric details on it.
Oh, okay.
So I would just advise, if you intend to travel by road, please try and get your Nigerian passports. You're going to meet one or two bottlenecks at the borders, but it's not something we cannot deal with. We cannot deal with, right? Okay.
So thank you very much, Tolu Owate, Season Sport Administrator. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, and it's good to be on the program again. And same time, some other time we will discuss some other groups.
Thank you. That's